Hello everybody, good morning. My name is Puchung Lepcha. Today, the topic of my presentation is Challenges of New Education Policy 2020. Now, I'm going to talk about it. Introduction. The new National Education Policy of India 2020, which was approved by the Union Cabinet of India on 29 July 2020. The new National Education Policy 2020 brings in ambitious changes that could transform the education system, but the key have is good implementations and execution. So here is the six major challenges of new education policy. First one is opening universities every week is a Herculean task, and second one is the number are no less daunting in reform to our school system, and third one is funding is a big challenges in the COVID era, and fourth one is current focus on healthcare and economic recovery to lower the education speed. Fifth one is need to create a large pool of trained teachers, and sixth one is interdisciplinary higher education demands for a cultural shift. So first one is open universities every week is a Herculean task. India today has around 1000 universities across the country, doubling the gross enrollment ratio in higher education by 2035, which is one of the stated goals of the policy, will means that we must open one new universities week for the next 15 years. Next, the number are no less daunting in reform to our school system. The National Education Policy 2020 intends to bring 2 crore children who are currently not in a school back into the school system. Whichever way you look at it, accomplishing this over 15 years requires the setting up of around 50 schools every week. Next, funding is a big challenge in the COVID era. This policy comes into being at a time when the economy has been battered by COVID-19 related lockdowns, government tax collections are abysmally low, and the fiscal deficit was high even pre-COVID. Next one, current focus on healthcare and economic recovery to lower the education speed. Economists have been calling for large stimulus packages amounting to double-digit percentage of GDP, despite the strain on the exchequer. While the national education policy is a 20 years journey on warriors that we may be off to a stumbling start over the next 2 to 3 years when government and budgetary priorities and claimed by the more urgent but equally important need of healthcare and economic recovery. Next, need to create a large pool of trained teachers. In school education, the policy envisages of sweeping structural redesign of the curriculum, a very welcome step. Many of the curricular require substantial mindset shift on the part of teachers as well as parents. Next, interdisciplinary higher education demands for a cultural shift. In higher education, the National Education Policy 2020 focus on interdisciplinary learning is a very welcome step. Universities, especially in India, have for decades been very solid and departmentalized. For the entire higher education system to be composed of exception professors who are curious about respect and lean into other disciplines while being expert in their own is no easy task. This requires a cultural shift in the entire higher education ecosystem over the next 15 to 20 years. So lastly, I would like to conclude my presentation in saying that conclusion, the success of the new education policy will depend on how it is implemented. Therefore, it can be said that India is the country with the youngest populations and India's future will be depends on providing high quality educational opportunities to this youth. Thank you.